going. Just gonna do a couple of things to make it all work. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Streaming on Twitter, Facebook. Oops, excuse me about that. And I just got to do a couple of things here before I start talking about this the latest in the COVID madness world. Okay. I've just been, can I say, like, wow. So I hope all is well with you guys. I want to talk about Executive Order NNN and some things that I want to discuss with you guys about this. So just give me a second. It's a very upsetting to have government officials do things that are not quite legal, but have a huge and profound effect upon our daily lives. It is quite disturbing, the things that can happen when we have these government officials that really just take too much power, too much privilege, privilege is the wrong word. Just give me 1 second as I get this going here. Okay, so the new order, Executive Order Executive Order NNN, which is to replace Executive Order 7BB. I'm going to pull up the order for you guys and let's take a peek at what this order actually says, and we're going to discuss it and talk about what this means for you if you cannot wear a mask and what you need to do and how you're going to go about this. First thing, take a deep breath. I know it's very disturbing to be dealing with this type of infringement on your bodily autonomy. I know for me personally, it gives me a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic. I think people don't realize there are a myriad of reasons why folks may not wear a mask. And when you're not wearing a mask in public these days, you're like one of a very few. I know every time I'm out, I'm like the only one in the store that doesn't have a mask on. So it's not like there's a huge population of people out there who are just, flipping the bird at the governor and saying, I'm not going to wear your mask just because I don't feel like it, which is your right to do that under the Constitution of the United States, okay? But anyway, that's not the case that we're dealing with here. So I want people to think about some of the reasons folks won't wear a mask. Survivors of violent assault, people with anxiety, people with PTSD, people with a CPOD, people with asthma. Now, there are some folks out there that say they're just fine with asthma and they can breathe in a mask. You know what? All of us are different. Can't we agree that all of us are different? But here's the thing that I want us all to think about. Whether you're wearing a mask or not, especially people wearing a mask, because the hostility is really coming from this crowd. And not everybody with a mask on is hostile, but a lot of people are. And I want you to think about the reasons people may not be wearing a mask. And it's not some political statement. I don't know why this mask issue has been so heavily politicized. It's a really strange and unique time in history. It's quite terrifying. So I wanted to share with you the executive order. So let's take a look at what this executive order says here. So Susan Bysiewicz signed this executive order, and Lamont's on vacation. So it's replacing the order from 7BB, right? So what they're saying is, and interestingly, and I'm going to be live with Eloise, Victoria Eloise, and she's going to get into it more about this because she has a lot of experience with the disability laws. Nothing in this order shall. That's a really important word because shall in legal talk, it doesn't mean you must, okay? So shall require the use of a face covering for anyone whom doing so would be contrary to his or her health or safety because of a medical condition, a child in a child care setting, or anyone under the age of 2. Any person who declines to wear a mask or face covering because of a medical condition, pay attention to this word, shall be exempt from this order, by the commission of the... Now, this is really weird. So the commissioner of the Department of Economic and Community Development will decide things and what goes on. A lot of this doesn't even make sense. So any requirement to wear a mask in sector rules or other rules issued by the Commissioner, Department of Economic and Community Development, only if such person provides written documentation from a qualified that they are qualified for the exemption from a licensed medical provider, the Department of Developmental Service, or other state agencies that provide supports. I don't even... It's so convoluted. First of all, let's just discuss a couple of things. So I got really upset about this because I absolutely cannot wear that mask. I have absolutely valid and legitimate reasons not to be wearing a face mask. And the first and foremost that all United States citizens have the right is the right to your own bodily autonomy. Your body is not a biological hazard, a biological waste. That's number one. First thing, the Constitution covers that. Let's get into some other things. So I called my grocer today because I was really upset. I gotta go shopping. I gotta buy bread. Who am I gonna show papers to? Am I gonna show them to the cashier, somebody at the door, somebody who decides that they're gonna be like citizen justice and inquire about why I'm not wearing a mask? Who? There's no clear definition because I called the governor's office today. So who's the qualified person looking at my medical papers? And just saying that out loud is just outrageous. You're going to have to show your medical papers to buy milk and bread? You see where this is leading, folks? Do you see the place that we're going here if we continue on this path? And what drives me more crazy than anything is the hostility from people out in public. I cannot believe this. Here we are, and our curve here in Connecticut is flattened. Okay, we're not at the height of this pandemic. We have declining numbers, right? Whatever that means, because there's a whole bunch of information about these COVID tests, how many people are dying. There's so much to this story that it's not just, oh, people are dying, this is so dangerous, and blah, 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 170,000 people have died. Well, I question that number. Yeah, people are dying, but is it from COVID? And people are dying all the time. I mean, we're all going to die. That's just part of life. We can't escape that. No, do I want people to die prematurely? Do I want to see people suffer and die? Absolutely not. I absolutely do not want to do that. But me not wearing a mask has nothing to do with the spread of the virus. You wearing a mask, you're not stopping the spread of the virus, okay? A virus is going to do what a virus is going to do. Remember before COVID and you go to the doctor with a virus? What would most doctors tell you if they were smart enough not to prescribe you antibiotics? A virus is going to run its course. So, when we have these executive orders, they're not enforceable. I want to play you a little video here. Let me pull this up because this is the type of thing that I've been running into. I had 2 people last week, accost me in the store. This isn't my video. I got this from another person. It's anonymous. I don't know who the woman is that shot this video, but I'm just going to share it. It's about a minute long. I'm going to share this little video with you because this is the type of thing that we're up against when we're not wearing a mask. And now people will twist it and say there are people bullying people with masks on. Look, let's not bully anybody. Let's respect all people. If you're wearing a mask, I don't mind. That's your prerogative, okay? I salute you for your choice. But I'm just going to go about my business. I'm type of person where I'm not going to be in your face or in your space or whatever, just doing my thing. So I don't think anyone should bully anybody, period. But I'm not seeing that, at least here in Connecticut. I did see a viral video of this guy yelling at somebody with a mask on his face. That's not cool. Nobody should yell. If you're wearing a mask, leave masked people alone. If you're not wearing a mask, leave barefaced people alone. Could we agree to live and let live? So here's a little video that I'd like to play for you because this is the type of thing that I've been running into and I'm trying to figure out ways to keep my cool. This woman does an excellent job and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So here we go. Let's play this little video.
Okay, continue. What's the problem?
You're not wearing a mask.
And?
I have a problem with it.
Okay, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I'd love to call the cops on you. Why are you not wearing a mask?
Because there's
Why are you so fucking privileged? Why are you so fucking privileged? So you're all happy with that? Like you can post that somewhere and make it out like I'm an asshole. You're the asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. And why aren't you wearing a mask? Why are you so privileged?
Because they're unhealthy.
That's bullshit. If I could drag you out of here by your hair right now, I'd love to do it.
I'd love to see you try.
I'm not going to try. You're not worth it.
Have a nice day.
I hope you don't.
Guys, this is not cool, okay? This is not cool. And I just, the thing for me is when I was in the store the other day, I had a senior citizen start calling me names in the grocery store. He's pointing at me. I'm 6 feet away from him. I have to read all the ingredients when I shop. That's just one of the things that I have to do. I'm that type of person that I'm really, really conscious about what I'm eating, what I'm putting into my body. Health is extremely important to me. And I'm in the grocery store like this with my naked face. It's X-rated, right? And I'm minding my own business, and he's like up there with his cart, and he's like really angry, and he starts calling me names. And I'm standing there, I'm like, wow, I don't know what to do. It starts to like really get to me. I'm a pretty thick-skinned person, and it's just like, here's a stranger that feels that it's okay to call me names, to call me a stupid idiot, right? Yelling at me through his mask that I'm stupid because I'm not wearing a mask. He has no idea anything about me. So when the governor puts these executive orders in that are not enforceable because they're not legal. This is not legal, guys. This is never going to stand up in a court of law. There's a lawsuit going on right now for Connecticut Freedom Alliance. They are suing the schools. They want to stop the masking of children, which I 100% support. So the Connecticut Freedom Alliance is doing that. You should go check them out. You can see them online at Connecticut Freedom Alliance here on Facebook. They are raising funds for that lawsuit as we speak, and it's been filed. You can go look at the lawsuit and read the lawsuit. Just go check out Connecticut Freedom Alliance, and you'll find out more information about that. There's another lawsuit. I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's also been filed, and I believe that's at the federal level. This is not acceptable. Look, we have to come to a balance and an understanding, and we also have to look and ask ourselves why a governor is doing this. Now, this recent executive order was signed by Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz, and she is the one that signed it. I'm not even 100% sure how legal that is. According to my good friend Victoria, who I'm going to be live with, she says, no way, Jen, this is like totally not legal. That the only way that the lieutenant governor has the power to do something like this is if the governor is like dead, impeached, or he's not able to perform his duties. So I called the governor's office today, and I spoke with the aide there, and I gave the poor guy an earful because I'm quite upset about this. And I spoke with the aide, and the first question I asked Governor Lamont's aide, where is Governor Lamont? And he said, Governor Lamont is on vacation. Oh. So Governor Lamont is on vacation, and the lieutenant governor just issued an executive order changing your other executive order, which in that executive order said this executive order can't be changed by anything until, either it expires in 6 months or he changes it. Well, he didn't change it. She did. And if there's an emergency where you need to have a brand new executive order, why is he vacationing in Maine and having Susan Bysiewicz sign this? That doesn't make any sense. And it sure as heck doesn't seem legal. And from my understanding, it's not legal. So you have to ask yourself that question. And not only did Susan Bysiewicz sign the new executive order NNN, she also extended it for another 6 months. Now, there's been chatter talking about the fact the reason she did that is because his orders, all of Lamont's orders, will expire on September the 9th unless they pull in a special session before then and the legislature votes to continue his powers of being king. Well, his emergency powers. So it's going to get to be really, really interesting, folks, to see what's going to happen. But this executive order, the masked executive order, was supposed to expire September the 9th. Governor Lamont goes off to vacation in Maine. I'm assuming the aide didn't tell me that, but okay, he has a vacation house there. So I asked the aide, is Governor Lamont planning on quarantining for 2 weeks when he comes back? And the aide's like, if it's applicable. Very interesting. Because a lot of the time we've seen Governor Lamont running around without his mask. Lately he's masking up real good. But back to the executive order. So I called my local grocer today to discuss this with him, and he's absolutely not, am I asking anyone for any kind of medical papers. It is not my place to ask people what their medical papers. He's like, what I would do is ask if they need any help, remind them of the executive order, and offer them a mask. My grocer said he would offer you a mask, and if you declined it, he's not going to ask you for your medical papers. He's going to let you continue about your business and shopping. The people that you're going to have to worry about are all of a sudden these I don't know, vigilantes, mask vigilantes that are like going to run over you with their grocery cart. It's like mask wars. And I find it really upsetting, because I find there's a lot of virtue signaling about the masking, and that is my biggest problem, where I've seen people talk about how they're wearing the mask for love, and that's all fine and well. If you're wearing the mask because it's a sign that you love people, that's fine. Well, then if you love people, why on earth are you calling people selfish and stupid and picking on them and bullying them? Because you know something? Here in Connecticut, at least, most people have a mask on. I see people driving with masks on all the time. I've seen people driving with masks on. Lately in Connecticut, people are starting to wear face shields too. Okay, that's how it is here in Connecticut. And 95% of the places that I go and I see, people are masked up, and I'm the only one in the store. So if I'm the only one in the store, why not just leave me alone? I have a very good reason, and it quite honestly isn't any of your business. But I have shared the fact that I've survived a violent assault, and that masks trigger me on a very deep level, and I experience panic attacks trying to I cannot cover my face like that. Some people say, oh, why can't you cover your face? It's such a simple thing you could do to save lives. Well, if it's that simple, whose life am I saving? Because there's nothing simple about saving someone's life. So, you know something? It's not easy for everybody to just put a mask on. Maybe you have no problem with it. Maybe it's something that you feel that you do, you're good, it's fine for you. Then do your thing. If it's about love, what the hell do you need to broadcast it for? And why on earth do you need to bully anyone about it for? Oh, you're selfish. You selfish person for not wearing a mask. You science denier. Wait a minute. Hold up. I'm not going to get into the science of this now, but I'm going to tell you what. The science ain't settled. Okay? And what I would really love to see on mainstream media, you know where I would gain some respect from mainstream media? If mainstream media actually covered all sides of the scientific debate and didn't just focus on establishment science, establishment government funded science. You know something about Anthony Fauci? He is no hero. There is a very dark and twisted past from that man that is shameful. I'm not going to get into all that now, but I really, really suggest that you would do a deep dive, and don't do it on Google, okay? Because it's just totally co-opted. All right, there are a million ways that you can go find information in the information age, and being educated and researching things does not make you stupid. Being educated and researching things does not mean you got your education off of YouTube. There are some wonderful content creators on YouTube, people I highly respect, that are out there, and they are the ones that I go to, because let me tell you something, even democracy now is corrupted. I'm going to say this, guys. I'm going to say this. When I was 18 years old and I was able to go and register to vote, the first thing I did was sign up and register as a Democrat. I would have considered myself a liberal, progressive Democrat, okay? I read Democracy Now! I followed NPR. I was definitely, you know, when Bush was president, I was out there protesting for peace. Something along the way happened to me, okay, spiritually and psychologically and philosophically, where I started to see things in the Democratic Party that absolutely I just disagreed with completely and wholeheartedly. And I have left, and I don't consider myself any part of that ideology or that party any longer. I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like I was cheated. I feel like in 2016, when I watched them steal that election from Bernie Sanders and watched them try to shove Hillary Clinton down our throat, I walked away, okay? I walked away, and I'm not walking back. In fact, I don't even want to be just part of any party. I want to be a part of the People Party, the Purple People Revolution Party, so that we are not about party. We're about what matters. And you know what matters the most to me? It's the Constitution. It's the Bill of Rights. It's liberty and it's freedom. And it is so absolutely important that we maintain bodily autonomy and medical freedom. And so this whole mask debate is very, very intense, and it's leading us into a really slippery, dark place that we need to be careful of. And when the government starts to dictate your health, therein is when we have the problem. So let's put all the party and the politics stuff aside. Yes, I'm deeply upset with some of the things that have been happening. And I think this has been so very heavily politicized. And there is an agenda. And I don't like it. And I'd like to see the people united to stop the agenda, to say, hey, wait a minute. These laws are illegal and unconstitutional. And we can't have this kind of thing happening in our country anymore. And it's about time that we stop fighting with each other and we started to talk to each other. And just going to show you this one real last time here. Here we go. Let me pull this up for you guys. This is Executive Order NNN. And this is saying that you need to show some kind of medical exemption paperwork. To whom? We don't know. We have no idea who we're supposed to show this medical paperwork to. We're just supposed to show that you're not abusing your privilege. Wait, what? Excuse me? Privilege? My constitutional rights? Let me just make this clear. Constitutional rights are not a privilege, okay? This is just unacceptable. We need to hold fast to freedom and liberty. That is what we need to do. You're going to make fun of me because I want to stand up for freedom and liberty, that not wearing a mask and saying that I want my freedom and liberty. Well, I have reasons that, yes, I can't wear a mask, and I don't really need to explain that to anyone or anybody. But the fundamental principle is, and why I don't need to explain it to anyone or anybody, and why it's not necessary because it leads us down this whole convoluted thing, is freedom and liberty. And for some reason, in this day and age, it's now like synonymous with selfishness to want your freedom and liberty. I can't believe that I hear people saying this. They're so selfish, and I wear my mask because I love people, and they're so selfish, talking about their freedom and liberty. Well, you have no idea all the details of different people's lives and why they might be talking about freedom and liberty, aside from the fact that that is our constitutional right. These are the fundamental principles that our country was built upon. The fact that we can be out there speaking our mind and speaking our piece is a beautiful, wonderful thing that we should all celebrate. It is come to a place that is so scary when the government is in control of your very body, where you cannot go buy bread and milk without the threat of being fined, because they're talking about fining people in Connecticut who are not wearing face masks. I've been bullied. So I spoke with my grocery. He's not going to bother me, but that doesn't mean when I go into the grocery store that I'm not going to be dealing with people who decide that they are going to be a vigilante, or I guess, would this fit into social justice warrior, where you're going to come out and you're going to tell me how I'm not following the social norm and wearing a mask and start calling me names. I've had friends be followed into the store and yelled at. I had one woman who was so upset that she left the store in tears after her father and his young son started to harass her. Is this turned into a place where we're going to bully each other and it's going to get bloody and people are going to fight over a mask? The science isn't settled, guys. It just isn't. And this law, this new executive order, it's not even legal. It's not even legal. And they know this. They know this. They don't care. They do it anyway. That's the thing that's so incredibly shocking about the whole thing. They do it anyway. Susan Bysiewicz signed the executive order NNN. Number 66. Okay? Governor Lamont has written 66 executive orders. No, sorry. Governor Lamont himself has written 65 executive orders. This most recent one where you're going to be required to show your medical paperwork, which you're not. You're not required to show your medical paperwork. In fact, there's a badge you can get from the badge. Let me give you this information. I should have copied this for you guys. Citizensforfreespeech.org. That's it. Citizensforfreespeech.org. Small donation. They'll send you a couple of badges that you could wear. Look, if somebody harasses you while you need to go get vital supplies for your family or you're out and about in public, don't fight with them. Don't fight with them. Not worth your time to fight. Just either try to ignore them as best you can. You just try not to fight with people. It's just a better option not to. I love the video I just showed before. If you had just tuned in and missed that, I had a minute-long video of a woman shooting another woman. She was shooting a masked person who was calling her all kinds of names, and she held her composure. I mean, you could whip out your phone. Whip out your phone and film it. If somebody starts harassing you, instead of saying a word, just start filming them. They might leave you alone because once they're on camera, they might not want to be seen that way. I don't know. Stay strong, guys. It's a really dark time, but this is an illegal executive order. It's not going to hold up anywhere. Not in court, not anywhere. It's not constitutional. And I'm going to have Victoria Eloise on with me later this week. And she is such a wellspring and a great researcher, and she knows so much about the American with Disabilities Act. Also, basic constitutional law. We are in the Constitution state of Connecticut, and our Governor Lamont is not acting at all like a person who is representative of the public. Government is not to control us. Government is we are the ones that are supposed to control the government, okay? Not the vice versa where he's operating as a king. There's so much from the nursing home deaths, which is huge, to these illegal executive orders. Susan Bysiewicz signed this executive order. It is not legal, okay? It's not even legal. It's a control measure, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying that they're doing this. And it's something like, we need the silent majority to start to come out and start to speak your piece and do the best you can out there, guys. If you really do have a serious issue with wearing a mask, stay strong. You don't have to put that mask on. You can still go and get the vital necessities that you need to pick up at the grocery store. You're not going to have to show the 16-year-old cashier your medical papers. You can get a badge. You could just show people that just basically from Connecticut, Citizens for Free Speech will send you a badge for a small donation. It just has the First Amendment on there, and it also has the ADA and the fact that it's against HIPAA. And when I called my local grocer and asked him, because I was really concerned, this new executive order really, really upset me quite a lot. It triggered a deep, painful memory of a violent assault. I really don't like to talk about it or use that as a justification for why I'm not wearing a mask. Quite honestly, it's really none of your freaking business. I have constitutional rights. But the fact is that I really physically cannot wear one. And whether I could or couldn't wear one is nobody's business. Okay? If I'm not sick and I'm out in public, I'm not a threat to you or anyone else. And the science isn't settled on these masks. And all the science I've read, it says, no, the masks don't do anything to stop a virus. All right? Maybe like Anthony Fauci said back in May, remember that on 60 Minutes? Anthony Fauci saying, no, masks aren't going to do anything. Maybe masks will stop a couple of droplets, but masks aren't going to do a thing. Remember that? And then he flip-flopped. Then it's, you got to have a mask on. And I don't know if you guys saw him at the baseball game throwing out his pitch, and then later on shooting a breeze with his wife and his buddy in an empty stadium, because you can't go to a baseball game, but he can. So, guys, we're going to fall to tyrants if we don't stand now. And if it's not COVID, it's going to be a crazy flu, right? People are going to die all the time. We cannot have the government dictating our lives and trying to wrap us up in plastic wrap to protect us from a virus. You can't outsmart a virus, guys. You know how you outsmart a virus? Your immune system. You outsmart a virus, yes, you can improve your immune system. I know that the mainstream media says absolutely not. You cannot improve your immune system with diet and supplements, exercise, but you can. You absolutely can. It's absolutely true. I spent my life learning about health and studying health. Am I a doctor? No, I'm not, but I'm healthy. I'm going to be 50. I'm going to be 50 in October. I take 0 pharmaceuticals. 0. None. Zilch. Okay? You can take care of your health. You can do it. Your immune system is powerful. You know how much I get sick? Very rarely. Very, very rarely. I get maybe 2 colds a year, okay? And they're not severe. You can have good health too. And if you're immunocompromised, it's a different story. Then you have to take different precautions. But even immunocompromised people can also lead healthier lives and empower their immune system with diet, exercise, and guess what, guys? Orthomolecular therapy. It's a big fancy word, isn't it? Orthomolecular therapy. You know what that is, guys? Vitamins. Good quality vitamins. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium. You know what else is another wonderful thing to have in your cabinet? This is for overall health. This isn't going to cure anything. This boosts your immune system. Your body cures diseases. Your body is built with a profound and strong functional immune system. And the only defense you have from a virus is your body's natural defense. The pharmaceutical industry is not going to give you health. The pharmaceutical industry is going to put you on a hamster wheel of dependency and being on pharmaceuticals your entire life. That's their goal. They care about money. People like me who don't take pharmaceutical drugs, who use supplementation, diet, and exercise are a threat to them. They don't want healthy people. They don't want people to be empowered. They want people to be scared. They want people to be afraid. They want people to wear a mask, which actually is bad for your health. I don't care what you say. Wearing something on your face and blocking oxygen is not good for your immune system. You have a cardiovascular system. Do you understand what a cardiovascular system is and how it functions and operates and how oxygen is so important for the body's overall health and healing and immune strength? Oh. I just don't even know what world I woke up in 6 months. We're going on 6 months here, guys. We're coming close to 6 months. Remember, 2 weeks? And it's getting worse and worse. And these masks aren't going away unless you make them go away. We are not getting rid of them if we comply with this. Hey, do what you got to do, though, families. And I know I've seen families out there, well, I had to put a mask on. I have a scarf. If I had to go into a small little tiny place, there was a little boutique shop in my town, and I know it was very stressful for her to open it. I have this little scarf. You know, it's not about compliance. It's also about trying to function. I'm a very vocal person. I don't even own a mask, but I had a scarf, and I really wanted to go into her store. She's a sweetheart of a lady. I didn't want to give her any problems. It's a very tiny space, so to keep her happy, I put this very thin, tiny little scarf like just under my nose to just go through her little shop. I wanted to support her, and I love her boutique. So, you know, it's, you have your ways of dealing with this, but please, please do not comply in the respect that you're just going to sit down and take it. Okay, if you've made a mesh thing for your babies and you had to go buy a bed, I saw a mom posting that, you know, God bless you for being clever, right? Because you got to do what you got to do, okay? And then stay in the fight. Keep fighting, but do what you got to do to take care of your family and get through your day and whatever you need to do. But don't give up the fight. So when, you know, I know there are real sticklers out there, so you got to comply. Don't comply at all. Don't do anything. You got to do what you got to do, because sometimes you just have to make something happen. So people have gotten mesh with it, so they're all full of holes and stuff so you can breathe, because it's the main thing that people don't understand is that you can't breathe in those masks, and that's a reality. So, but just don't give up the fight. Call the governor's office. Be active. When you get the governor's phone number, you just punch it into your phone, so boom, you can call the governor. Put all your state senators, your representatives, put them in your phone. Think about running. Think about running for office, because this is what it's going to take. It really is only going to change at the local level. Do the thing it is that you can do to stand up and resist this, whatever it is. There's a guy, I know I'm going to invite him on with me, who is driving around to the different capitals on the West Coast and singing songs at all the capitals, because that's what he does. Okay, I'm a broadcaster. That's what I went to school for a million years ago. I'm going to be 50 in October, okay? I'm a broadcaster, and I just never could work in the mainstream. I wrote for the press for a short period of time as a freelance writer, but I love the ability to stream, tell stories, share in the information that I have. So that's what I do, but all of us have something that we can each do to resist and fight back. Let's stay connected to each other in the best ways that we can. Love our neighbors. Let's not fight. If you run across a mask bully, you know, there's a couple, I don't know, I say a prayer before I go into the store. I'm just spiritual like that, so that's what I do. Just say a prayer, you know, just get me through this. I just speak well and deal with any confrontation in the best up to my ability. There's no easy answer when you're in a situation, what you're gonna do. But it's getting hotter and hotter out there and harder out there. Don't give up. Don't give up. They keep the pressure going on. They keep pushing on when we're starting to change the tide, guys. It's a really exciting time in the understanding of the human body and health and healing and the epigenetics and our gut microbiome and all of these things and what sunshine and vitamin D do for the immune system. It's a very, very exciting time in human understanding about the human body and natural health and healing, which I am a huge advocate of. I had my babies at home. I love natural health. It has taken over my entire life to know and educate myself about natural health. And masks are not natural. I can't handle them. And I know a lot of people can't. So that's the end of my story. Executive order, and sometimes it's like a tongue twister. NNN is illegal. You do not have to comply. Do what you need to do to get through the day. Keep up the resistance. And I'll be live later this week with Victoria. We're really going to get into the Americans with Disabilities Act and also about Lamont and whether or not the lieutenant governor has the authority to write emergency orders when, if it were emergency, why is Governor Lamont in Maine? That's the big question I have. So there you have it. Until we see each other again, you can visit me online at jcherrypresents.com. And share this video. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to my page. I'm really trying to work that YouTube channel, although YouTube is censoring everybody too. Also on BitChute and Twitter at jcherrywesu. And be live later this week. Stay strong, stay healthy. Your immune system is what keeps you healthy. Pharmaceuticals aren't always going to cut the cheese. You know what I'm saying?